Okay, as with any task analysis, sometimes a step is left out. The step that I did not express to you ahead of time was the fact that I had her take her reins in her left hand, put it on the horse's withers, and the right hand on the pommel. If you have the rider put the right hand on the cantle, they can torque the saddle as they get over. The other thing is, they sometimes don't have body planning, so they're trying to mount with their hand there. If you get both hands forward, that puts their upper torso forward and their hips forward, so it frees up that leg to come over and down. Make sense? Okay, now to get her off, I'm going to have her drop her stirrups. I'm going to ask, we've got a horse coming through. She is not dismounting with reins in her hands. That could be something for the future. She's going to lean forward and look to the outside. If she leans forward and looks towards me, she's going to drop that inside shoulder and that's going to bring her off. Keep her focused to the outside. Bring her leg up and around. And then have her over the horse. Stop in that position such that her weight is still on the horse. And then she can raise her head and come off. Okay? Step by step by step. Peacock stirrups are not your friend. They have been said to be safety stirrups. They have two knobs on them. Those two knobs can hang up belts, bra straps, other sundry things that you don't want to think about as the people come down because they are knobs. So the rule of thumb is to put it in front of the knee roll and get it out of the way so that when the rider comes down, that they will come all the way to the ground. If you've ever had somebody kind of hanging there by their belt, that's like putting them behind the saddle. It's really tough.
All the way up.
You can rip pants. Unfortunately, I heard of a lady that impaled herself and had to go to the emergency room.
Oh.
So that was enough for me.
Who was it last year? Someone got hooked in a belt.
Yeah.
Hooked in a belt. I was sitting on the table and I was like, they started freaking out. Okay, so moving forward.
The other side you don't have to just
Okay, so this is the rider that I had her put down her stirrup in the beginning. She asked her offside volunteer to take it down when we start the mounting process. She's now to the point where she can put up her stirrups. And so she's doing that. And that's part of her independent riding and responsibility to this process. So, questions?
I know you say right now, but are you going to demonstrate an emergency dismount?
Oh, I can do that with her. Okay, the request is made to do an emergency dismount. The thing that you have to know is that where the rider's hips are is where the rider is. The hips are absolutely the most important thing. So the way of taking a person off the horse is to reach around and grab the hips and bring them off. If you're in that type of a situation, you just need to make it happen. It's not, there are two parts to the emergency dismount. Number one is getting the person off the horse, and the second one is getting the horse away from that person. Because how many horse leaders are going to say, oh, what happened? And stop the horse and look back. So the horse leader needs to be trained to keep walking forward, do a half circle, and look back at where you are. Now, if indeed you are doing a crew emergency dismount, if you and the rider end up on the ground, it's okay. You have gotten that person away from the equine. That is what your challenge is. I would like to encourage you to see if you can keep the rider up by stabilizing the hips, by doing an open thigh hold, and be able to work through the issue if you think that's something that would happen. If you determine emergency dismount is needed, by all means make it happen. But make sure your horse leader keeps on walking and does that half circle. Want me to do it the hold or the walk?
Walk.
Walk!
Yeah, of course. Alright, so let's see if come up here. I would like to see you dismount again.
Well, I'd have them just go onto the main. I'd rather have them just go onto the main and jerk on the main, and have them have their reins and jerk the reins around like that. Like, since they just get around jerking, because they don't like their main faster.
But this might be more for somebody more independent.
Okay, I've got an emergency situation. We're going to do an emergency dismount.